According to the 2013 article by Rob Moody et al. Entitled Profits and Pandemics Prevention of Harmful Effects of Tobacco, Alcohol, and Ultra-Processed Food and Drink Industries, it states, ultra-processed products are made from processed substances extracted or refined from whole foods with little to no whole foods in them. These products are typically energy-dense, low in fiber, and high in unhealthy fats, sugars, and sodium. Modest consumption of these products are unlikely, while displacement of fresh and minimally processed food is very likely. Now, I'd like to ask you, why is processed food more favored than natural or organic food? Hi, my name's Nathalie Rivera, and today I'd like to tell you about how I believe more people should be making things from scratch. First, I'd like to look at the lack of confidence when people are making things from scratch. Secondly, I'd like to look at the importance of prepping from scratch. And third, I'd like to show you how you can start. I will begin with the average experience with scratch cooking and why people avoid it. People seem afraid and discouraged. It's funny how they really just don't want to make anything from scratch, as if it just seems too hard. Or maybe it's just too easy for these more processed foods because they cook faster or they're cheaper. According to the article, Influences Underlying Food Choices in Mothers from Economically Disadvantaged Communities by Sarah Hardcastle and Nicola Blake from 2015, they did a 6-week study in which they did a cooking intervention with mothers and their children. And they wanted to see the impact of this after-school intervention and to see if it had any change on the confidence levels or the skills that these mothers had when cooking. A lot of them did change their ways. They tried to incorporate more scratch cooking rather than processed food. Maybe they wouldn't want to do everything from scratch, like making noodles. They might get that out of a box from the grocery store, but they would try other things from scratch, and they would just mix foods with whole foods and processed foods. Beyond parents making any mistakes with a balanced diet, any of us can make a mistake with a balanced diet. There are many barriers that prevent us from scratch cooking. But what really is scratch cooking? According to Barriers and Facilitators to Cooking from Scratch Using Basic Raw Ingredients, Qualitative Interview Study by Fiona Lavelle et al. In 2016, results highlighted that scratch cooking lacks a single definition. Participants viewed it as optimal when they were cooking. They varied between the traditional sense of scratch cooking, where it's raw foods only from your hands, to the common mix with some processed foods involved. This minimized expectations in the kitchen and relieved anxieties. And, it gives you the chance to define your comfort level in the kitchen. You can start small and easy and expand slowly. The more experience you get, the further you can go. It's really up to you how far you want to get with your skills. And when I mean start easy, I mean start really easy, because I always do. For me, starting easy would be something that you don't actually have to cook. Something that I did was make a smoothie for breakfast, as I usually do. I made this simply by using almond milk. This would be a processed food because I didn't make it by hand. However, I do pay close attention to the ingredients, and compared to other almond milks, this one doesn't seem to have as many preservatives. I also used bananas, blueberries, and raspberries. It was a simple little drink that I made in under 5 minutes, and I was really glad that I made it instead of having something like toast or waffles, because that would just not really fill me up, and it wouldn't be nutritious, and I wouldn't be good for the day. And this is just one easy way you can start with scratch cooking. Start small, expand. Then after that, maybe you could try actually cooking something. You can start easy with a stir fry. Stir fries are typically just some vegetables and some protein you can toss together and season up. There are plenty of recipes, and they're very easy to make, and I encourage you to make them as well. If we don't start scratch cooking, we can continue some bad habits in America. According to Daniel Schobers et al. 2016 article, Evaluation of Live Well at School Food Initiative shows increase in scratch cooking and improvement in nutritional content. It says, despite national efforts, childhood obesity is up to 31.8% within 2 to 19 years of age. These kids have been labeled as overweight and obese, unfortunately, because of bad habits when cooking food. Processed foods are a lot much higher in fat and sugar and content, all that content. While scratch cooking would provide a lot better food for you. The inaction of scratch cooking would keep this bad statistic and probably increase if anything. However, from the same study, 9 school districts that were chosen to improve school lunches with scratch cooking, 7 of them were statistically significant pre to post reductions in sodium, 4 in fat, and 5 in saturated fat. So, the kids in school were experiencing scratch cooking and they received less fat, less sodium, and less saturated fats in their food. It was a small effort, but it was great that they could do that in a school. As you can easily see, scratch cooking is not that difficult an accomplishment. And now that I've informed you on what scratch cooking is, why people avoid it, and how you can start today, I hope that you don't think that processed foods are that tempting anymore. Sure, they're a little tempting and easy and delicious with their fats, but scratch cooking has a lot more health benefits to it, and you might feel better after you've accomplished something fun. I hope after sharing this info, you will start in no time with your scratch cooking, even if it's something as easy as a little smoothie. Thank you for listening. My name is Nathalie Rivera.